This video will show you how to sew a cuff on a blouse. In my previous video I showed you how to sew the continuous bound placket, but this video is all about sewing the cuff. The pattern I'm using is Butterick 5526. Here are the pattern instructions for the cuff. Taking a cuff piece, the first thing to do is find the side which has the notches on, because I want to do some work on the other side. This long edge needs to be folded over by 5/8 of an inch or 2.5 centimetres if you work with centimetres. You can see I'm using my tape measure to help me here and popping some pins in to make sure that fold over is staying in the right place. Both cuffs have now been folded and pinned with that 5/8 of an inch, and I'm now going to go and press them. This folded over edge now needs to be trimmed to 3/8 of an inch, so I'll be cutting off 1/4 of an inch. This is to reduce bulk on the cuff when it is finished. The cuff now needs to be folded along the fold line. The fold line is shown here on the pattern piece. We've already made a measurement of 5/8 on one long edge, so we can use that when we fold it over. I'm folding the cuff in half and then measuring the 5/8 to the fold, and that should then fold the cuff on the fold line. Both of these shorter ends are then pinned into position because we need to stitch those. Everything is now ready. I need to stitch along here and stitch along here, and you can see I've prepared both cuffs at the same time. Using a regular seam allowance, I will now sew across the ends of my cuffs. Once stitched, it's time to trim them. I like to cut the corner first, and I do like to layer my seams, so cut the first layer fairly close to the stitching line and the second layer a little bit further away. Grading the seam in this way can give a flatter finished result. Now the cuffs can be turned out the right way. I like to point my finger into the corner and then push it through. And I have a tool here that's really useful. It's got a pointed end, and that can be quite handy just to gently push into the corner, and sometimes I like to push the length of the seam along the length of the pointy tool. One of these is useful. If not, you can find something else pointy within your tools to help you get a nice sharp corner. And now the cuffs can be pressed. There is a notch on the pattern, and this square is where the seam will match the cuff. So here I'm just checking, I did cut a notch for the notch, but I want to make sure it's marked on my interfacing side, and the same with the square area on the pattern as well. Here is my sleeve. The sleeve seam has already been constructed, and I did do the continuous bound placket. Please look at my previous tutorial for that. And also the pleat on the sleeve has been pinned and tacked into position. I'm turning the sleeve so the right side is facing uppermost for the next stage. I'm noting where the seam is and also where the notch is on the sleeve. And then making sure I've got the correct cuff for this sleeve, because obviously they are mirror images of each other. So the notch on the cuff needs to match up with the notch on the sleeve. Placing those together, I'll then pop a pin in to secure that. And then the square marking that was on the cuff piece, I'm then going to match that up with the seam. So placing those together, making sure the seam is open on the other side, and I will secure that with a pin as well. I like to put the pins facing down, one either side, just to keep that seam securely open for when I get to the sewing machine. The idea being they won't fall over and get caught up for me. And now match the edges together, being quite particular, getting them matched up quite well. If they are a little bit off, it can make the cuff look not very good at the end. So I'm taking my time here to make sure they're securely together. And now, matching the edges of each seam, I'll go along the rest of the cuff, making sure everything matches up nicely together. We can now sew this seam, but be very mindful not to catch the cuff within the stitching, and making sure that the edges stay nice together, that they don't move as we stitch them. I'm taking my time to get everything in position, and gently easing the pin out and then putting the foot down, pulling the cuff out of the way before I get started on the sewing line. In a situation like this, I find it easier to do a couple of stitches, gradual, and then pull the pin out before I continue. If you're finding this video useful and you're learning some top tips, please do hit the like button. It really does help with the algorithms showing this video to other people like you who enjoy learning about sewing. I'm approaching the other end, and again I want to make sure those edges stay nice and square together. I've removed the pin, but I'm using the very tip of the pin in the fabric to hold the edges together as I complete the seam. The cuff is now attached to the sleeve, and now it's time again to trim the seam allowance. The sleeve side will be going up into the cuff, so I want to leave that as the longest side of my trimming, so I'll start trimming the shortest edge with the interfacing side. As before, this side is trimmed fairly close to the stitching. And then the other side of the seam, the other piece of fabric, we'll trim that also, but not quite as close. And again, this is grading the seam allowance, and it does reduce bulk on the finished garment. This is a sleeve roll, really useful for pressing sleeves. When you've got a narrow piece of fabric with a seam that you wish to press, you can tuck it inside. I have another video on pressing tools that you might find of interest. It's within my sewing techniques playlist. But I'm using the sleeve roll here to stretch the cuff around it while I press the seam up. I've turned the sleeve out the right way round, which means I can then, using the sleeve roll again to help me, press the cuff from the right side. It's always good sewing practice to press the seams, but also to always ensure the right side is pressed as well. Pressing each step during the garment making process does give a better finished garment in the end. I've pinned the cuff into position because the next stage is to do a little bit of hand stitching, and I'm going to do some slip stitching just to encase the cuff and the sleeve together. None of these stitches will show from the right side, as we're doing some top stitching later. I have a friction pen here to help me prepare for top stitching. I like to mark the corners with this pen. It just makes life a lot easier when I get to the sewing machine. Use your favourite marking tool, but I like the friction pen simply because when the heat from the iron goes onto it, the ink disappears. I'm marking 1/4 of an inch, as that's where I want the top stitching to be, and then mainly on the corners really. Then I'll join up those dots to mark the corner, which when I'm at the sewing machine I can easily see where to put my needle in the corner and then turn to do the other side. This is one of the corners marked here. So where to start the top stitching? I would like to hide where the start and finish of the top stitching is, so I'm working out which side of the cuff will be hidden once I've got the button and everything in place. On this sleeve it'll be this side, so I'll start sewing and finish sewing my top stitching here. I'm starting on the centre of that edge of the cuff and stitching 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the fabric, using the line that I drew on with my pen, and then when I reach the corner I'll put the needle in at the corner point lift up the machine foot, put the machine foot back down, the needle stays in position, and then commence again along the line that I marked on my fabric. And complete top stitching the whole cuff. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please do follow along for more projects I'll be completing, including doing the buttons and buttonholes on this blouse.